Along the path toward college, Rylan Casanova has experienced more than a few bumps. Coronavirus disrupted his school year and turned his future upside down.
The blows just keep coming. And it's like, what else?
This is what else. When Rylan was taking his AP physics test on Monday, he couldn't submit it no matter what he did. He took this video to provide proof of his predicament.
I'm just thinking about, what will I do? Is my score going to be a 0? Will I not be able to get my college credit? What's going to happen?
The advanced placement test Rylan and about 1 million more students are now taking determine whether they'll get college credit for work done in high school. When his mom found out about the issue, she posted to Facebook and immediately found dozens of others experiencing the very same problem. She contacted a company called the College Board that administers the test and got a canned response. When I called today, I was put on hold for more than 20 minutes.
Welcome to the College Board Advanced Placement Services for Students and Parents.
And then abruptly disconnected.
People really need to be accountable, and I would expect him to be accountable, right? And I think that that's probably one lesson that they can kind of take away, and I think that's where College Board needs to step up.
A reported 10,000 students have experienced the glitch, and it still isn't exactly clear what caused it. Rylan now has to make up the test in June. His mom wonders what will happen then.
We don't know why it didn't submit, and what's to say now when you go to do it again in June that you're not gonna be met with the same issues.
It's just one more disappointment for Ryan and the class of 2020. The biggest lesson he's learned through it all? Resiliency.
It makes me proud as a parent, but it's just hard. I mean, it's really hard what these kids have had to endure this year.
Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.